Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, 5 Easy Ways for Your Assistant to be a Profit Center with MAPS coach Monica Reynolds. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and you will automatically receive a copy of the recording. If you have any questions for your coach, please type them into the questions box located in your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar, if you have any questions about today's call or coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That is fasttrack@kw.com. That's all for me. Monica, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. It's Monica Reynolds, and I'm excited to talk to you. I've trained more assistants than anyone in the country. In fact, I dug the well, I think, on assistants. I wrote a book in the 90s on assistants and building a team. It wasn't exactly a bestseller because no one really wanted to know those things. There was one guy who wanted to know about those things, and I met him at a recruiting seminar in Chicago in the early 90s. And he came up to me and goes, "You wrote that book on assistants. I need to know about that." And blah, blah, blah. And he walks away and I go, "Who's that guy? What? Well, he sure had a lot of questions." And they go, "Oh, that's Gary Keller." And I go, "Oh, he's starting a franchise." And I go, "Good luck with that." It was the 90s. And oh my gosh, here I am. I work with Gary Keller. He and I are the co-leaders of MAPS. He's the CEO of MAPS. I'm the vice president of MAPS. And so we have a great organization of training and coaching for Keller Williams agents. So this is one of the programs. And again, as I share with you, no one's talked to more assistants than me in the entire world regarding real estate assistants. And my passion about assistants, this is my one thing, is that assistants changed my life. They changed the life of the clients that I had because I wasn't able to do the service at a high level because I was doing a lot of mega business there. And I just thought to myself, wow, assistants are the secret weapon. There's a secret weapon to your business. And they're not a liability. They're not something you go, wow, another mouth to feed, another person to take care of. This is how you build a great real estate career. You deserve it. Your family deserves it. The clients deserve it. And guess what? The assistants deserve to have a great career with a great agent like yourself. So how do they become a profit center? Let's go to our first slide. So the first question that you want to ask yourself is, how is your assistant? Oh, next one. That's enough of me there. Okay. You want to ask yourself these questions. How is your assistant a measurable profit center for you? So the ROI, a return of investment, and I have a whole form on that, is how the assistant can pay for themselves 4, 5, 10 times over for what their salaries are. So does your assistant bring business to your team? If not, why not? If I called you today and I said, I have a referral for your town, I'd like a 25% referral fee, you go, no problem. And yet as agents, sometimes we don't think in the big picture. When our assistant joins a team, an executive assistant or any team member, they have family, friends, past work experiences and people there and past employees that they knew that you don't know. And yet when they bring those leads, sometimes an agent's very not big-sighted. They're thinking, well, no, I'll just, I'll pay you $100, pay them 25%. And I know the rules. I got the rules down pat. If they're not licensed, you can't pay them a referral fee. So pay them a little bit less until they get licensed. They should be licensed on anyone's real estate team in this day and age. So you want to encourage them to bring business to the team. So the next question is, how has your assistant increased business versus only being focused on business? Now we'll get to the 5 things here in a minute. So is your assistant, increasing business or being just focused on doing the business? So the answer is you want them to do both. You want them to encourage them to embrace the goals you have, to be part of the goals, to be part of the excitement. Yes, we got another listing. Yes, we got another sale this weekend. You want them to be part of that and for them to have opportunities to think about who do they know. Now, here's a startling thing that I learned. So I have a class at Family Reunion, and I said, how many, assistants in the room? Who has 1,000 people over there in their Facebook page? Well, I figured maybe 4 or 5 might, because I've asked the question before. In a room of maybe 300 assistants, probably over half, the arms went up like crazy. And I went, oh my gosh. So these assistants have these huge Facebook presence. What are you doing as an agent to encourage them to, a little bit every now and then just say, hey, you guys, take a look at this cool bathroom. We just listed this house on Cherry Street. What do you guys think of it? So it's subtle. It's not like, if you have any real estate questions, call me, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's a lot of assistants who are just right at it like that, and then some just kind of do it subtly. Either way, just do something, okay? The other thing is you take out your iPhone, okay? I talk about this all the time. It's just really fun. Take out your iPhone, and basically you scroll to the bottom. I don't know about the Android, so sorry, I just have an iPhone. You scroll to the bottom of contacts. Ask your team, if you're an agent listening to today's call, how many contacts you have in your phone. When assistants do that, they're going to tell me they have 2,000, 3,000, 100, 200, whatever it is. Say, have you texted anybody lately to say, hey, I'd love to help you if you have any real estate questions, or hey, how is it going? Engage them first and then go, great. Hey, if you have any real estate questions, don't forget I work for the #1 great agent in town. So there's great opportunities there. Is it a requirement of employment for your assistant to increase business? It should be an opportunity that they embrace. So in an interview process, which is a whole nother call, you know, I always ask the question, are you willing to promote that anyone you know, family and friends, that they come and work with us if they're buying or selling? I've had assistants say, oh no. And they go, great, I'm glad you were honest, tell me more. Well, my mom sells real estate and I give all the referrals to her. And I go, great, thank you so much for coming in. And basically I say, appreciate your time, boom, out the door. I need somebody who wants to build a business, who wants an exciting career. Real estate assistance is not a cul-de-sac job, not the way I show you how to do it. So let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, so when you look at this now, there's 5 easy ways for your assistant to be a profit center. And what I mean by that, there's a return of investment, an ROI. And so, you know, what's interesting, I work at KW here in KWRI in Austin, and we have to be looking at all the time, what is the ROI on every single employee? What are they doing to move the business forward? And so this is not anything new. This is just how it's done when you're building a business. So for an assistant to be a profit center, are they building duplicatable and scalable systems? And they're the CEO of the file. So you guys are going to hear me say this all the time. You know, hopefully you join our call that I've been doing for years, and every year, every new session has new material, some command things. It's really great. And I always say every system that I share with you on the calls on the Perfect Real Estate Assistant, these are systems that you can use if you're doing 20 deals. It can use if you're doing 200 or 2,000 deals. And so what's really critical about that is that you want to build some systems in place so your business is duplicatable and scalable. You're not reinventing the wheel all the time. And I teach the assistants to be the CEO of the file. They're the boss of the file, not you, the agent. They're the boss of the file. You're the salesperson. Increase the database. It's your only asset. You know, I've had the privilege for years of being in Gary's private mastermind, and literally talks about building the database and his owning market share. There are agents in Gary's private mastermind of the top 100 agents that have 140, 150,000 people in their database. No, they don't know them, but there is some sort of name recognition. There's been some sort of opportunity. They've either been a just listed or a just sold in a neighborhood where they've sold homes. There's been some opportunity where they're building that list. And yes, they're calling, they're mailing, and they're emailing. Help with clients and past client events. So in the course, I also go over the client events and how important they are. And Gary said we need to make that connection. You know, Zillow's not making a connection. All these other companies are not making a connection. And yet they're pretty strong about taking business away from us. And so it's the relationship. So you have to think about relationships and what's your value proposition. So in the course with the updated material, we're talking about your value proposition as an agent. And part of your value proposition is you have a professionally trained assistant who monitors the file, who's the CEO of the file. Develop repeat and referral business. I go through not millions, I go through quite a few scripts. So the assistant learns how to answer the phone and how they always mention your name and how they end with a Disneyland close. By the way, thanks for working with our team. We so appreciate your business. Is there anything else we could do to help your day? The client says, well, blah, 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 and, you know, whatever. He said, oh, before I let you go, you know, our business is based on referrals from great people like you Who do you know right now who could use our help in buying or selling? These are very simple, easy scripts. And of course, I'm real scripted right there, but they can say it unscripted like, but at least they're going to have the foundation of how to ask for repeat and referrals, and of course, reviews. Got a whole thing on reviews. So having your assistant be scripted and practicing those scripts so that they become natural and they flow out is so critical to the customer experience. So we don't talk about customer service, we talk about the customer experience. Okay, the next one, develop programs for vendor contribution. Okay, I know the RESPA laws. I was in the wild, wild west when affiliates were allowed to pay for a lot of stuff. Trust me, those were the good old days. But now they can't. But they can pay for a few things. They can pay for supporting you at a client event, not sending you a check directly, but bring the wine, bring the hors d'oeuvres, bring this, bring that. They can also support you in marketing. So I get that. So let me talk a little bit about that. If you're not comfortable, don't do it. However, there are vendors who make an incredible amount of money off of what you do. So let's have them help support your business with maybe some client appreciation parties. And I got a whole list of those. So let's turn the page, Stephanie or Corey Lynn, and let's go to the next slide. Okay, so number one, building a duplicatable and scalable business. So this is how there are 5 ways your assistant becomes a profit center. If you have systems, you're never hostage to say your assistant decides to leave for a few months to have a baby. Good for her. Let's say your assistant leaves, they get their husband or their wife is in the service and they get transferred. So you never want to be hostage to this person who's running the systems. The systems are duplicatable, scalable, and easy to understand. And in this course, I have your assistant build a policy and procedures manual. He or she will build that as we go. There are 18 calls, and as we go, they'll be building those. So a listing system. One of the things that I teach really hard and strong is that I teach the assistants that it's 6% of the value of their home. So when that call comes in from a listing, they're going to hear a great person on the other line that's excited to talk to them. It's very helpful, who's understanding, oh, our sign blew down again. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. And able to really communicate at the highest level that they care, the team cares, and they always mention your name. So in listings, and just don't faint away on me here, I give 21 days of every single day scripts for the assistant to call every day. Now, the assistant's not going to catch them every day. The fact, though, when somebody's paying 6% of the value of their home, and I know there's some analyticals out there going, well, it's not really 6%. It's 2.5 or 3. No, it's 6%. They wrote a contract for 6%. That's what they see coming off the top. The seller is associated that with the contract. So the listing, so over communicating on the listings, assistants say to me, what do I say? Great, no problem, I've got every day. And you never say to a seller, you know, we're going to call you every day. You say, we call often. And I have a professionally trained assistant. In fact, here's her business card. Here's his business card now. Closings, critical. This is the icing on the cake. And again, it's calls every day. But then again, if you've got, now using common sense, if you have 25 closings, they're probably not going to be able to call every day. But they should call often, and they should leave a message. That's fine. And if you're very proactive, so I had an assistant push back hard on this. She goes, well, I can't do that. I said, so I'm going to ask you this. When you have your next listing, call that listing every day and notice the difference. Report back to me 3 weeks later what the difference is between that client and any others that you didn't call every day. And maybe you called them once a week, and maybe you didn't call them once a week. So she reported back. She said, totally different experience for the client. Gosh, they're so nice. They're so great. I know we're going to get more business out of them. They've even given me a referral. And I went, oh my gosh, they even gave you a referral? Wow. So why not think like that? So I have a whole big system on that. We've got a huge letter library that we share with you. Referrals. Again, this is the best time for an assistant to be asking that. It's in the listing checklist. It's in the closing checklist to have a goal. We've got a whole referral. You know, of course, the Kelly app is fantastic. So when you come to these live calls, and there'll be a live webinar call like this with a video, and you'll be able to see me And what's great is that, not that you're great to see me, but great that, I can connect more with your assistant and say, hey, this is easy to ask for referrals. Put it on your checklist, and here's how we do it. Tracking numbers, the assistant should be involved in that. I've got whiteboards, I've got digital things that they can use. We've got the whole way to track numbers, and it's really, really great. And, as an agent, the more accountability you have about numbers, the more successful you'll be. No, it's good to know the numbers. P&Ls, we don't get into a whole lot of P&Ls. I do give them a basics on what they could monitor. When you get into P&Ls, that's a director of operations, that's a higher level assistant, but yet some of them will take care of the bills. They'll compile them and they'll put them on a spreadsheet, or they'll put them in QuickBooks or whatever you happen to be using. Lead generation. What can an assistant help on lead generation? Well, one of the things is they help with asking for reviews and referrals. Lead generation, they ask their friends, family, and past coworkers for business. And yet there might be expireds, there might be FSBOs that you're working on, past clients. They're going to assist you in some of those lead generation. Hey, let's go to number 2. We're going to talk about database on number 2. This is your only asset, your only asset. And so if you're not currently using Command, please start to look at that, start to shift over. There's so many great things that it's doing. It's unbelievable. And I know a lot of you are paying like $1,500, $2,000 for different CRMs. Don't move until you're comfortable, but start to play with it a little bit, start to see what it does. You'll be surprised. It's very cool. Do I talk a lot about Command? Not a lot, but I talk about it some. There's some huge things in there that I just absolutely love, and that's what we call opportunities. It's like the pipeline report, the most amazing pipeline report I've ever seen. So it's really cool. Database has to be structured. And there, if you look to the right on the screen there, there's 5 different things that I've always said in a database. There's agent database, the agents you know around the country. There's your team database, meaning if I'm a buyer agent on your team and I bring you 500 names, 1,000 names, I'd like them to go into the database with a field that says my initials, so that I, when I'm working with them, get credit for it, and I've proven that these are my people versus people that I've worked with being on your team. Vendor referrals. Vendors, you mean your title company and your lender should be giving you referrals? Oh yes, don't forget the home warranty. Don't forget the home inspector. Don't forget the plumber. Don't forget the electrician. Who are you lining pockets with? And the assistant has those connections to say each month, so who do you know right now who could use our help buying or selling? We love supporting you. How can you support us? And then sphere of influence is different than past client. And so when someone says, well, we have a 35% referral, and I go, great, break it out for me. They go, break it out. And I go, well, how many are sphere of influence? How many are past clients? Well, I can't do that. Well, how many from your team? Well, I can't do that. This is how you do it. You've got to know the numbers in those categories. And where's your business coming from in your database? And who are your very best clients who've had multiple deals with you? That's what's really fun. All right, number 3. All right, let's make this assistant a profit center. So let's go to the next slide. So the key thing is to reconnect with past clients. And this program that's coming up in November it's 6-month course, 3 calls per month. And the first call of the month is for agents. I teach you how to be a good boss, how to have retention with your assistants and keep those assistants and not have a big churn rate. And the thing that I think is important is that there's so much. We cover lead generation, database, listing, sales, goals and numbers. And then one of the things is in the database is reconnecting with clients and past clients. And so, Gary's a big proponent of this too, is to have client appreciation events and parties. They don't have to be expensive. This document shredding party happens to be something that I've been involved in, and it cost $350 for the shredding truck. We had the affiliates come out and bring hot dogs and hamburgers, etc. And people brought their documents in May. They'd stand there while they were shredded and grab a lemonade, a Coke, and you could have balloons, you could have face painters. Do it in your parking lot because it's usually empty at your office parking lot on Saturday, and do it a month or so after tax time. Great way for you to see everyone. Movie nights, that's self-explanatory. People have done that. Free LED light bulb day where you give out light bulbs. Host a home improvement class. That's a great idea. The pies, you guys all know about the pies where they come to the office. This was the silliest thing. And I've heard this so many times now that you invite these people and they say, yes, I'm coming for a pie. And then you say, bring us a referral and you'll get a can of whipped cream and another pie. And they said, we get referrals all the time that way. It's unbelievable. So just a thought. There's another one that I heard about the other day that I thought was great. In the homeless shelters, one of the number one challenges that they don't have socks. And so this one agent that I know very well in California, she has a sock party. And you bring socks that you want to donate to the homeless shelters, and then she'll have like ice cream sodas and ice cream and things like that. And you come and you donate socks, and she has it Saturday afternoon in her office, and they make ice cream floats and things like that. I mean, just real creative things to have that one-on-one. Okay, let's go to number 4. Let's talk about getting some of that repeat and referral business. So we'll go to the next slide. So you already heard me say this, our script already. I think I got this down. Thanks for working with our team. We so appreciate your business. May I ask you a favor? Our business is based on referrals from great people like you. Who do you know is thinking about buying or selling? And thanks for thinking about that today. So one of the things that's critical is that if you ask for business, there was an old stat. Remember, I've been doing this since dinosaurs walked around. There's an old stat that said if you ask 100 people, you get 4 referrals. And yet we don't ask 100 people. I talked to a very successful team the other day, an assistant, and I said, do you talk to at least 100 people a week? She goes, sometimes I talk to 100 people by Wednesday. And I go, okay, good. I said, do you ask for referrals? She goes, no, I haven't done that yet. And I go, yet? You've been on the team for 8 years. What's holding you back? She goes, well, I just don't know what to say. And I go, I'm going to teach you today. So if you ask, you will get some information back. And you're training those buyers and those sellers and those pendings that your business is based on referrals from great people like them. So I will teach your assistant how to do that. Okay, let's go to page 5 or slide 5, number 5. So, I'm just trying to give you some different thoughts today, and I've already mentioned this vendor program. So we tracked all our vendors because I looked at, well, I had a title rep that made over $1 million a year as a title rep. That was $1 million title rep. And I said to her, and I was in Long Beach, California at the time, selling about 300 houses in the 90s. And I said, how come you don't give me any referrals? And she goes, well, you don't ask. And I went, excuse me? She goes, you're just super busy. And she said, I'll be honest with you, squeaky wheel gets the grease. And I went, oh, well, that's going to change today. You're in my calendar every single month to ask you for a referral. Now, this was, I think, North American Title at the time, and they had 350 employees at their center in Long Beach, about 2 miles from my office. And I said, I'd like to go over there and do a seminar for them on how to buy your first house or how to sell a house. I mean, get me involved over there. So she did, and it was great. And I wanted to be the realtor of choice there. So think about the vendor that you supply business to. And I use the word supply because basically, and one agent said to me, well, I'm not going to ask them to do anything. I just want great service. And I go, I don't want great service. I want excellent service. I want to train those vendors. And I will give you the scripts in these calls where those vendors are trained. Thank you for working with us. By the way, you worked with Monica Reynolds' team. That's the best team in town. Congratulations. You have a great agent. They need to cement that. They need to build that bridge of trust. And so in this vendor program, and what I'm going to share with you is that we created an Excel spreadsheet. And if they brought us donuts, we wrote it down and gave them like a $50 credit or whatever. If they brought us some supplies sometimes, like I said to my assistants, and I'll talk to them about being, very conscious about spending money. I said, I never approved of any office expenses other than paper. We had all the vendors donate their pens, their legal pads, whatever. Just donate supplies to us. And if you don't ask, you don't get. So what I think is critical to think about, if you had an assistant and you look at all these 5 things that I mentioned quickly, like the systems, and you built systems, that's huge. That are duplicatable and scalable, that lead to repeat and referral business because the customer experience is so huge. that your assistant is in charge of your database, and that's your only asset. And if you go to the next step in your real estate career, we're going to step to the side, you're going to step back, you're going to step out. Your database is your only asset. And who do you know? And how did you know them? And so that database, and we go through that really strong about what that's like. The vendor program, these are the people who support you, and yet we hardly ask for business. So so I would sit down this time of the year with each vendor and say, what's your goal to contribute to our business? We need your help. So thinking about these things. So real quick, and I appreciate your time. The calls start November 6th. Let's go to the next slide, please. And it's me, and it's a live call like this, and it's a video. And there's about 450 pages of a policy and procedures manual that's duplicatable and scalable. And then each week your assistant will get letters, they'll get checklists. And what's more important for you to hear if you're the agent on this call, make the investment in time for yourself. I do a call just for agents the first week of the month. And I teach you what I'm going to share with them so you can help your assistant be accountable. Do I give out homework assignments? Absolutely. But you've got to help me. You got to make sure that they're on track doing it. Do you end up with a 450-page policy and procedures manual that's duplicatable and scalable for your business? Absolutely. Do I talk about different lead generation systems, all the checklists, how to build a customer for life? You bet. We go through all of that. And the key thing for you to hear too, there's 3 calls per month. It's 6 months. It's $199 per month. And I've had so many agents over the years say, my goodness, this is the best value known to man. And it's very basics. And I have there's a great saying out there that I love, that champions are champions because they do the basics better than anyone. And so you may not be a New England Patriot fan, but they do the basics better than anyone. And so if you do the basics better than anyone, you're a champion. And so this is the level of course that is. And so if you've got a new assistant that's been with you for a while, you're looking to improve your systems, this is the course for you. So make the investment for yourself, make the investment for your assistant, and more importantly too, make the investment for your business and your clients. This is a critical thing that you can do. And what a perfect time of the year to start. Great time of the year to start this. So I'm going to open it up and see if there's any questions. You can put it through the chat box. You can raise your hand and I'll answer any questions real quick. It starts November 6th. If you go to mapscoaching.com/group and you put in web 100, you can save $100. And so we'd love to offer you that again. And then if you have any questions for me, I got a simple email. It's monica@kw.com. I'd be happy to answer any questions. So Corey Lynn, any questions, please, first?
Yeah, so we've got one that just came in. Is it applicable to an agent who hasn't hired an assistant yet? What about commercial agents?
Gosh, yeah, thanks for that. So there's 2 things here. If you are an agent who has not hired an assistant yet, this course is for you because now you get the systems. All the calls are recorded. They're online afterwards for 60 days. So basically it's 6 months of classes, and their classes are 1 hour, 3 times a month. And then you've got 2 months after that. And so now you'll have the system. So about 25 to 30% of the call are agents without assistants. Basically, you are the assistant. So you need the systems that'll help you gear up to the point to where you hire one. If you're commercial, we have a lot of commercial agents that have taken this course. They absolutely find it great for their assistant because a lot of it is very similar. Will you have to tweak the listing checklist? Of course, you've got that, but I give you certain things in that listing checklist. You go, we need to add that. We need to add that. Customer service letters, of course, you can tweak those. And so I've had a lot of commercial agents and assistants say, hey, this was great. It was no problem for us to take the course, even though it was residential, basis. Okay, any more questions?
Hi, Monica. I'm a mega agent in Panama City, Florida. I'm looking for an assistant. What would you recommend for me?
Okay, so first of all, I recommend you take the course. Okay, so get that started. Second thing is there's a bunch of ways to do it. Okay, I believe in Indeed.com is the biggest place that most mega agents go to. Now, mega agent, you need an assistant for sure. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Indeed.com, Craigslist does work sometimes. Asking your affiliates, do not say, do you know anyone? You say, give me 3 names. I don't have to use yours. That would be a great assistant that's been downsized, that's left the business or whatever, or people that are current. I won't mention your name. I need 3 names. And the other is your database. Go directly to your database saying, thank you for so much. I'm having a great, successful year. I'm looking for a new team member. If you know of anyone who wants a career in real estate, please contact me. So those are the 4 simplest, easy ways to do it. And then if you want to hire it done, go to wisehire.com, WIZEHIRE, and they'll do a great job. I believe they charge $195 to find you an assistant a month. Okay? All right, what else?
If my current assistant quits in the middle of the program, how long do we have access to the recordings?
Okay, if your assistant quits, now that's not a good way to start this. Okay, that's not a good way to start that. So if for some reason your assistant leaves, then you have access to the course during the whole time of the course, plus the 2 months afterwards. And so some people have learned how to capture the recordings, which is fine. But so if they quit on month 2, you still have 4 more months. You hire another assistant, they can go back and listen to everything. So everything's available for 8 months, basically. Okay.
Awesome. I have a virtual assistant. How do I better train on issues with that a normal assistant takes on?
A great question. I've had many virtual companies have their whole assistants join these calls. I've trained many virtual assistants from the Philippines to the United States, you name it, and they've all got a tremendous amount out of these courses.
All right. There's 2 more questions, and if anybody else has questions, they can email us at fasttrack@kw.com. So these last 2 are, do you mind repeating the script for repeat and referral business?
Yeah, happy to. And then I'll just, off the top of my head, for repeat and referral business. But let me ask you this. Sign up for mapscoaching.com/group. I've got a bunch of, I want to say a million, I got a zillion scripts. So here's the script. Thank you so much. Well, it's there, but watch, I can do it without looking. Thank you so much for working with our team. We so appreciate the business. May I ask you a favor? Our business is based on referrals from great people like you. So who do you know right now who's thinking about buying or selling? Now, let's talk about reviews. So here, those who hung on for the last, let's talk about a review. So the second that someone says something nice, about, gosh, you guys call so much, that's so great, or great, thanks for following up with us, the assistant is going to be trained to say, hey, thanks so much for noticing. We so appreciate that. We want this to be the best customer experience for you. May I ask you a favor? Could I send you a link to Zillow or Trulia? Could you just write a brief review for us? Give us a 5-star review for our team. We so appreciate that. So you strike when the iron's hot. You don't ask for it when the deal's closed. You strike whenever the opportunity is, when they say something nice or something great has been done. Okay? All right. Anything else?
The last question is, how much time will the homework take every week? They have a part-time assistant right now.
Okay, so you work at your own pace. So I don't grade the homework. I was an ex-school teacher, imagine that. I don't grade the homework. Shoosh, got out of that job. And so, for example, on the first call, they're going to be asked to put together a list of all your listings and a list of all your sales and give that to you, or your pendings, every single on an Excel spreadsheet, every single Friday. And also, here's your other bonus for those people hanging on. I appreciate it. Is that I have them do a Friday report. The Friday report, whether you're part-time, whether you're in the Philippines, it doesn't matter. 5 things you did to move the business forward. So I'll repeat the things that I have them do on Friday. 5 things to move the business forward. What's the week high? What's the week low? And how did you wow a customer? So that's their homework. So those little things right there probably take 15 minutes max. So they'll go at their own pace. Now, if you have a listing checklist that's out of whack and doesn't make any sense, and then you see mine, it might take them an hour or so. So they go at their own pace. I give them 3 things to choose from. I ask them to do at least 2. So they go at their own pace, but you, as a great leader, need to make sure they are pacing at the right speed for you. Okay? All right, so I want to mention this to everyone again. mapscoaching.com/group. I am the leader of the call. I've coached more assistants and teams than anyone in the country. I have the basic systems down that can build a duplicatable and scalable business. These are live calls. You get to interact with me. You get to ask me questions. You could raise your hand and talk to me. I'm happy to do that. So I look forward to you signing up. I'd love to be the teacher for you. I'd love to help your assistant. This is my one thing. So Corey Lynn, is there anyone else that has a quick question? And I'll let everybody go.
We do have a bunch of questions coming in regarding the program itself. So if anybody wants to, if you want to email fasttrack@kw.com, I will answer those on the other end of that.
Okay, great. Hey, you guys sign up. I'd love to have you on the course. You know, it's so much fun. And plus, guess what? There's a benefit. When you talk to me on the class, I ask for your team name, where you're from, and we've given out referrals because then everybody goes to Kelly and request you. So I set the ground rules that you're going to have a whole bunch of Kelly additions to your referral network. So thanks, everybody. I appreciate your time. I'm Monica Reynolds, monica@kw.com if you have any questions. I'm here to help you. Thanks, everybody. Go sell a house. Bye-bye.